This Good Morning Northwest morning sprint is brought to you by Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's just about 6:53. Time to get you ready to take on your Wednesday in the morning sprint.
Sydney Charles has details on a new warning from Russian President Vladimir Putin overnight.
We'll have sunny, warmer conditions today. Mark has your first alert forecast just ahead.
But first, a deadly crash blocking Highway 2 right now. Let's get to Allison Martinez with the breaking details.
Highway 2 is completely blocked off in both directions this morning from Spotted Road to Flint. According to the Spokane Police Department, around 12:30 in this area near Airway Heights, a vehicle struck a pedestrian. That pedestrian is dead and the driver is currently in custody. It has not yet been determined whether or not drugs or alcohol were involved. Now, as you head out the door this morning, cars are being detoured from Spotted Road to Airport Drive to Flint and vice versa. For updates, you can head to our website, kxly.com.
The Idaho Supreme Court says it will not step in on the U of I murders case. The High Court has declined to hear Bryan Kohberger's request to appeal the Latah County judge's decision not to dismiss the charges against him. Kohberger is charged with the first-degree murders of Madison Mogen, Xander Kernodle, Ethan Chapin, and Kaylee Gonsalves. State police and FBI arrested Kohberger in December of 2022, and the judge entered a not guilty plea on his behalf. Both parties in the case have argued about where and when the trial could take place, but it's not likely it'll begin in 2024.
As we look at our current satellite and our First Alert Weather and the First Alert Weather app, again, still free and available in the App Store. We do have light snow still into parts of North Idaho and into Montana. If you're going to travel on I-90 over to Montana, look out past snowpacked and icy. Right now, temperatures are freezing out there, about 32 degrees, 30 officially, 25 into Cheney. Over the next 12 hours, we will see increased sunshine, fewer clouds, and a high of 48.
Washington presidential primary results are in, and they have effectively decided which candidates will represent the Republican and Democratic parties in the 2024 presidential election. Former President Trump won Washington state's Republican primary with nearly 74% of the vote. An allocation of delegates from his primary win allows Trump to reach the 1,215 mark necessary to become his party's presumptive nominee.
President Biden clinched the win in Washington state's Democratic primary with nearly 86% of the vote, which also gives him enough delegates to win his party's nomination. You can keep up with our coverage of the 2024 election season on our website, kxly.com/forthepeople.
Some Washingtonians could file their taxes for free this year. Nearly 1.1 million Washington residents are eligible for the new free IRS Direct File pilot program. This comes as part of President Biden's Inflation Reduction Act. On average, the individual taxpayer spends more than $200 in preparation to file a return. Direct File provides a free, secure option for taxpayers with simple tax situations. Live customer service support will also be available to ensure accurate filings at no cost. For more information, find this story on kxly.com.
A Spokane woman who investigators say is responsible for helping move $125,000 worth of drugs in a month in the Spokane area will spend the next 11 years in prison. 36-year-old Amy Riggs pleaded guilty to conspiracy to distribute. According to the DEA, she played a major role in trafficking meth and fentanyl in eastern Washington. Investigators also say Riggs was involved in a 2022 shootout with a man in order to retrieve more than 50,000 fentanyl pills that were stolen from her.
The Spokane Children's Theater is struggling for answers this morning. This person broke into their building yesterday morning and stole a number of items. The theater says it's saddened by the destruction and loss of items. If you'd like to help, you can donate at SpokaneChildren'sTheater.org. If you know who stole those items or have any information that could help find them, call Crime Check at 509-456-2233.
Details overnight. Russian President Vladimir Putin says Russia is ready to use nuclear weapons if necessary for state security. Now, the announcement follows a new wave of Ukrainian drone strikes. The Russian Ministry of Defense said at least 58 drones were shot down by air defenses overnight into this morning. Putin says the recent attacks are an effort by Ukrainian forces to prevent the holding of presidential elections. It comes as the Biden administration just announced a new military aid package for Ukraine worth up to $300 million.
Coming up next on Good Morning America, the latest on a high-stakes vote that could determine the future of TikTok. Lawmakers may potentially ban the app in the U.S.
Small businesses in the Garland district still trying to bounce back and fully recover from the pandemic. To attract more customers, local developers plan to build a 44-unit apartment complex behind the Garland Theater. Ryan Berg is the developer behind it. He says building an apartment complex at Monroe and Walton will help bring more foot traffic to the area. He says it should be done in the spring of next year. Weather with Marcus.